Hello, my friends. You want to remember the yes-no questions and vocabulary definitions quickly and easily? Here is an easy version for you. This video includes 90 words with easy, simple definitions and 37 questions on the new form N400. Please try to remember well this lesson. It can help you pass your interview successfully. So, let's get started.
Have you ever claimed to be a US citizen, in writing or any other way?
No.
Please define claim for me.
To say something is true.
What does it mean to claim to be a US citizen?
To state you are a US citizen.
Have you ever registered to vote or voted in any federal, state, or local election in the United States?
No.
What does vote mean?
To elect new leaders.
What does register mean?
To sign up.
Do you currently owe any overdue federal, state, or local taxes in the United States?
No.
What does owe taxes mean?
To owe the government money.
Please define overdue for me.
Past the deadline.
Do you know what owe means?
To have a debt.
Since you became a lawful permanent resident, have you called yourself a non-resident alien on a federal, state, or local tax return, or decided to not file a tax return because you considered yourself to be a non-resident?
No.
Do you know what non-resident alien is?
A person who has not passed the green card test.
Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any communist or totalitarian party anywhere in the world?
No.
Can you define Communist Party?
Like China, North Korea.
What does totalitarian party mean?
Government controls everything and people have no power.
Have you ever advocated, supported, and promoted any of the following, or been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with a group anywhere in the world that advocated any of the following: opposition to all organized government, world communism, the establishment in the United States of a totalitarian dictatorship, the overthrow by force or violence or other unconstitutional means of the government of the United States, or all forms of law, the unlawful assaulting or killing of any officer or officers of the government of the United States or any other organized government because of their official character, the unlawful damage, injury, or destruction of property or sabotage.
No.
Can you define overthrow?
To remove a government from power.
What does advocate mean?
To support.
Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with, or have you ever provided money, a thing of value, services, or labor, or any other assistance or support to a group that used a weapon or explosive with intent to harm another person or cause damage to property?
No.
Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with, or have you ever provided money, a thing of value, services or labor, or any other assistance or support to a group that threatened, attempted, conspired, prepared, planned, advocated for, or incited others to commit kidnapping, assassination, hijacking, sabotage, or use a weapon or explosive with intent to harm another person or cause damage to property?
No.
Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with, or have you ever provided money, a thing of value, service, or labor, or any other assistance or support to a group that engaged or participated in kidnapping, assassination, or hijacking or sabotaging of an airplane, ship, vehicle, or other mode of transportation?
No.
Can you explain what hijack is?
To stop and steal a moving airplane.
What does assassination mean?
An action of killing someone.
What does sabotage mean?
To destroy something.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in torture?
No.
Do you understand what incite means?
To encourage.
What does torture mean?
To hurt someone physically.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in killing or trying to kill any person?
No.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in genocide?
No.
Please define genocide for me.
To kill a whole race.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in injuring or trying to injure any person intentionally and severely?
No.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in any kind of sexual contact or activity with any person who did not consent or was unable to consent, or was being forced or threatened by you or by someone else?
No.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in causing harm or suffering to any person because of their race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion?
No.
What does national origin mean?
Where a person is from.
Have you ever ordered, incited, called for, committed, assisted, helped with, or otherwise participated in not letting someone practice their religion?
No.
Have you ever served in, been a member of, assisted, or participated in any military or police unit?
No.
Can you explain what military unit is?
A group works for government.
Do you know what police unit is?
A group protects community.
Have you ever served in, been a member of, assisted, or participated in any armed group? For example, paramilitary unit, self-defense unit, vigilante unit, rebel group, or guerrilla group?
No.
Can you define rebel group?
A group fights a government.
Can you define self-defense unit for me?
A group protects a place.
What does paramilitary unit mean?
Like a military group, but is not official.
What does guerrilla group mean?
A group uses weapons to attack the government.
What does vigilante unit mean?
A group acts like the police, but are not the police.
Have you ever worked, volunteered, or otherwise served in a place where people were detained? For example, a prison, jail, prison camp, detention facility, or labor camp? Or have you ever directed or participated in any other activity that involved detaining people?
No.
Do you understand what prison is?
A place where prisoners are kept.
What does prison camp mean?
A place to keep enemy soldiers.
What is labor camp?
A place to force people to work.
Can you define jail?
A place where prisoners are kept.
Can you explain what detained is?
Held in custody by police.
Can you explain what detention facility means?
A place where people are forced to stay.
Were you ever a part of any group? Or did you ever help any group, unit, or organization that used a weapon against any person or threatened to do so?
No.
Can you define weapon for me?
Like a knife or gun.
Do you know what threaten is?
To warn to hurt someone.
When you were part of this group, or when you helped this group, did you ever threaten another person that you would use a weapon against that person?
No.
When you were part of this group, or when you helped this group, did you ever use a weapon against another person?
No.
Have you ever sold, provided, or transported weapons or assisted any person in selling, providing, or transporting weapons which you knew or believed would be used against another person?
No.
Have you ever received any weapons training, paramilitary training, or other military type training?
No.
Can you explain what military type training is?
Learning to fight in combat.
What is paramilitary training?
Learning to fight in combat.
Can you explain what weapons training is?
To learn how to use a gun.
Have you ever used any person under 15 years of age to take part in hostilities, or attempted or worked with others to do so?
No.
What does hostilities mean?
Fighting in a war.
Have you ever recruited, enlisted, conscripted, or used any person under 15 years of age to serve in or help an armed group, or attempted or worked with others to do so?
No.
Can you define enlist?
To sign up in the armed forces.
What does recruit mean?
To ask.
Can you explain what conscript is?
To require someone to join the army.
Have you ever committed, agreed to commit, asked someone else to commit, helped commit, or tried to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested?
No.
Can you explain what commit a crime is?
To do something that breaks the law.
Can you define offense for me?
A minor crime.
Do you understand what crime means?
An action that breaks the law.
Can you explain what arrested means?
Handcuffed by the police.
Have you ever been arrested, cited, detained, or confined by any law enforcement officer, military official in the US or elsewhere, or immigration official for any reason, or been charged with a crime or offense?
No.
Can you define confined?
To be kept in a place.
What does cited mean?
Given a ticket by police.
What does charge mean?
Police tell you that you did something illegal.
If you received a suspended sentence, were placed on probation, or were paroled, have you completed your suspended sentence, probation, or parole? What does probation mean?
You report to an officer regularly instead of jail time.
Can you explain what suspended sentence is?
Delaying of a sentence.
Can you explain what parole means?
The early release of a prisoner.
Have you ever engaged in prostitution, attempted to procure or import prostitutes or persons for the purpose of prostitution, or received any proceeds or money from prostitution?
No.
Do you know how to define procure?
To find someone for sex.
Can you define prostitute?
Someone who has sex for money.
Have you ever manufactured, cultivated, produced, distributed, dispensed, sold, or smuggled any controlled substances, illegal drugs, narcotics, or drug paraphernalia in violation of any law or regulation of a U.S. state, the United States, or a foreign country?
No.
What does it mean to produce?
To make something.
Can you explain what manufacture means?
To make something.
Do you understand what smuggle is?
To take things to a country illegally.
What is drug paraphernalia?
Equipment to make illegal drugs.
What does distribute mean?
To supply something.
Can you explain what controlled substances are?
You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions.
What does cultivate mean?
To grow plants.
Can you define illegal drugs or narcotics?
Like heroin or cocaine.
Do you know what dispense means?
To supply something.
Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit?
No.
What does immigration benefit mean?
Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship.
Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time?
No.
Have you ever helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally?
No.
Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling?
No.
Can you explain what gamble means?
To play a game for money.
Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony?
No.
Can you define dependent?
Someone who relies on another person.
Do you know what pay alimony is?
To pay money to ex-spouse after a divorce.
Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States?
No.
What does misrepresentation mean?
To lie or give wrong information.
Do you understand what public benefit means?
Welfare like food stamps.
Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading?
No.
What does fraudulent mean?
To claim something that is not true.
Can you explain what false is?
Not true.
Do you know how to define misleading?
Giving the wrong idea.
Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States?
No.
What does lie mean?
To say something is not true.
Can you define admission into the United States?
The right to enter the United States.
Have you ever been placed in removal, rescission, or deportation proceedings?
No.
What does rescission mean?
To take back a decision.
Do you know what deportation proceedings means?
Process of removing a person.
Have you ever been removed or deported from the United States?
No.
Can you explain what deport means?
To force a person to leave a country.
Did you register for the Selective Service?
No.
Can you define Selective Service for me?
Services in armed forces under law.
Are you a person born as a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and 26th birthdays? Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
Can you define U.S. Armed Forces?
U.S. military, Navy, Air Force.
Can you explain what avoid being drafted means?
To prevent being selected as a soldier.
Do you know what drafted means?
Being selected as a soldier.
Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
Are you willing to give up any inherited titles or orders of nobility that you have in a foreign country at your naturalization ceremony?
No.
Can you explain what hereditary title is?
A royal title like prince or princess.
Do you understand what order of nobility is?
Like king or queen.
Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States?
Yes.
Can you define form of government of the United States?
Republic.
Do you know what Constitution is?
It is the supreme law of the land.
Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Yes.
Please define oath of allegiance.
A promise to be loyal to the United States.
Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Yes.
Are you unable to take the oath of allegiance because of a physical or developmental disability or mental impairment?
No.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces?
Yes.
Do you know how to define non-combatant services?
Services that do not involve combat.
If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States?
Yes.
Do you know what bear arms means?
To own or use a gun.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction?
Yes.
Can you explain what civilian is?
A person who is not in the military.
Can you explain what work of national importance is?
Tasks that are important to a nation.
Please define civilian direction for me.
A direction from a person who is not in the military.